Welcome back to part 2 of this podcast where we're looking at leadership, and Jesse DeYoung's here, who's on our staff. Cole's here, one of our campus pastors. Jesse oversees all of our weekend experiences and everything that's broadcast out of this place. Part of your expertise, Jesse, is studying churches, studying leadership, and then you're in a network with a lot of pastors around the country who ask you questions, and then you come in here and dump them on me.
Pretty much that's
you don't have any answers.
Right. Yeah, no.
That's okay. Right. That's okay. So you were going to ask a question that had to do with insecurity.
Sure. I just feel like most leaders right now are wrestling with insecurity because the way that we're doing things, the way that we're doing church is a way that none of us have ever done it before. Right. And so like there are these insecurities that come up. I'd say, and I just wanted to get your advice for leaders, but then selfishly, just this is some counseling for me. I'm in a new role. I'm exec pastor of experience with no experience.
That sounds so boulderish. I'm the executive pastor of experience.
Jesse's very
I
bold,
tried to find...
Do you have chocos on?
No, he has a national shirt on.
He's got the national.
I've got
national best band ever. Get out of here, dude.
Your
Yeah, dude, I got skinny
those aren't
sweats
even
on.
sweats on.
Dude,
those are like...
lemons, dude. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, high fashion, baby.
Nice.
Yeah,
You wearing Lululemons?
Oh, yeah.
Jesse's brother works for Lululemons.
I'm going to hit him
He
up.
gives me a
for-
discount.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, they're incredible. Sorry, ask your question.
So the question...
You should both feel insecure because you both wear Lululemons.
Yeah,
No, but they're
I feel
so
more secure.
they're
men.
so comfortable.
We're tough. Oh,
They're so
seriously, so comfy.
Damn. So I'm wrestling with a lot of insecurity.
Obviously. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't have experience. Like I'm looking at what churches are putting out there. They've got these creative ideas of like things that they're putting together. Some churches are doing it better than others, but I would just go like, I don't have any skill set in production, in lighting, in video, in creative ideas. I feel like I can be a good leader, but at the same time, being a creative director is not something that's really in my skill set. So I'm walking around with a lot of insecurity because I'm going, everything has changed and I've got to lead these people. But at the same time, most of the time I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know, I don't know how to lead in this current reality.
Yeah.
So give me some advice.
Well, I think insecurity always needs to be asked this question. Compared to what? All right. And
What do you mean?
Well, I feel insecure because I'm comparing myself to fill in the blank. All right. And that's a very wide range of subjects. We can go in a lot of different areas there. Okay. But it's all the same thing is compared to what? So will my performance be as good as, and then you have an imaginary character or this person out there that you don't know their life, you don't know their circumstances, you don't know anything, right? Like so many times I've looked at like athletes or something like that and went, I'd do anything to have their life. Mm-hmm. And then you see they're on marriage number 47 and then they're in rehab number 12. All right. Now that's not a blanket statement on athletes, but when you really, really peel back the paint, you don't want anybody else's life, but you compare yourself to somebody else's life, their job, their success, their money, their wife, their family, their church, whatever. This is why people are going crazy right now looking at social media because nobody's putting their crap out there.
Yep.
They're just showing that I baked 3 loaves of bread today.
Yeah.
I actually did that.
Did you post it?
Huh? No, I'm not that guy.
Come on.
We
I'm
wanna
going
know
to.
you.
Yeah, and my recipe and all that. So it is okay. I'm feeling insecure compared to what? And most of the time you're going, so would you change what you have to have whatever your comparison is? And the answer usually is no.
Sure.
All right. And so I think that's a lot of self-pressure. A lot of insecurity is about fear based on I'm judging myself and I'm assuming other people are judging myself. And if there's some truth in that, then look at it, see, does it get your attention about something that needs to be addressed? But usually it's this thing going, that's not who you're even supposed to be. Like, you said you're studying a lot of churches and you see all this production stuff out there. I watched 3 or 4 Easter services from big churches across the country. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, at the risk of sounding critical, I wouldn't want to do anything I saw. Okay,
Sure.
And their production value, stuff like that. I watched one that I think that pastor wants to be a TV star, or somebody else that's like, I see them. They all had on the same version of the same plaid shirt for Easter or something like that. They all said basically
Plaid
the
shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Jesse's wearing right now, or
No, that's much better. That is much better. It's pastel Easter egg colors and stuff like that. I've talked to some of these guys that I've seen online, and when I talk like this, we have this kind of conversation. When they step in front of a camera, they're like this, and they talk about, the world has changed. If I hear one more time some pastor go, World has changed. I know. We say it here all the time too. Okay, we get it. World has changed. Got any light to shed on it? Something like that.
Now
and,
what?
Yep.
And so I'm comparing myself to all these big names or big churches, something out there, and I bet in every industry there's always that place of comparison, right? And that insecurity is kind of like, what do I do with that insecurity? I take a breath and go, is that what I really want to be and what I want to do? And is that who I'm called to be and who I'm supposed to be? All right. So, I was on this big text stream with a bunch of famous pastors the other day. All right. And again, I didn't know who they were until I found out who they were. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know you are. Right. And it seems like everybody's trying to figure out how to get people to come back to their buildings.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And here's a judgment. It feels like, because if you have a lot of people in buildings giving a lot of dollars in buckets or something like that, somehow then that's a statement on them.
Sure.
Right. Now
Sure.
that's a judgment, and I may be totally wrong there, but it is my judgment. It's like, how can we get people back in? And they threw a bunch of Bible verses about it's biblical for people to come together. It's biblical to come together, but it doesn't have to say, there's no place where that was written where there were brick and mortar buildings where people were coming together. They came together in kitchens. They came together in fields. They
Sure.
came together, in buildings that were already built for something else, like a temple, and they came together and they used those. All right. This is kind of coming together for me right now. So I started prepping, several months ago, and it just felt weird. I looked at Rob and went, I don't know why. I just feel like I need to can some more spaghetti sauce. And she's like, okay, whatever, right? And then there's a run on the grocery store, all right? And nobody
Sure.
could buy toilet paper. And I had
plethora.
I had 3 cases of, but it wasn't because I thought, I was just like, I'm gonna put it away. I don't know. I had that premonition, right? Now, back in, when we go on that offsite,
End of January.
I was gonna ask Cole, but wasn't invited.
Yeah, I wasn't invited. That
So
one.
remember
Yeah.
that trip
We
to
took an
Vegas?
offsite.
To the land of milk and honey, I was
Right.
invited. Continue.
Right.
We sat around and we went, okay, if we wanted to reach 1 million homes for Christ over the next 10 years, we all were unanimously going, it's not through brick and mortar. It's not by building seats so that 1 million people can sit in Flatiron's church buildings. It is leveraging technology and stuff like that. Is that the same thing that was going on? Hey, pay attention to this, because the world can change like that.
Sure.
I'm excited on one hand to get out there and go, let's figure it out. Because if we were going to have influence over 1 million, I've always said 1 million men. In my mind, that meant 1 million homes.
Sure.
And then 1 million homes is a wife or a girlfriend or something like that, or a couple kids or something like that. And so now that you're talking 3-4 million, right? And I know that there's single moms. I certainly include that. I don't want to exclude anybody in there. But I've always had a heart for running after men, because if men can get their crap together, most of the world's problems get away, right? If we could have influence over 1 million, all right, that's spread out across not Colorado, but it's across the world, and
Sure.
they're never going to sit in our seats. I don't know what we just heard that. So Governor Polis said last night. So today is Thursday. So on Wednesday night, he said it's going to be months and months and months before we can ever gather in large groups again, sporting, whatever. He didn't say churches, but they're certainly included in that. Okay. So we're not going to be in the 4,000 seat auditorium with
Right.
4,000 people
Right.
in the foreseeable future. All right. Okay. You mean kind of like the Bible, right? Where they had to run for the hills or they had to run whatever, but somehow the gospel continued to go out and it continued to spread. I don't have the answer, but I'm not so insecure going, are we ever going to fill up our big buildings that we paid a lot of money for, something like that? I don't know. I don't think that's the church of the future. I'm really excited. So the insecurity about, is my church going to be big? I don't know. Could our influence, and by influence I meant that influence and getting the message out that God is good and he loves people and he wants good for them and he sent Jesus to us and nobody is beyond reach and he doesn't hate anyone and everything is forgivable. Could we, if we were limited to only people get to hear that are people that can get in a car and drive to one of our buildings, or COVID-19 has forced us to go, they're not coming back to our buildings for the foreseeable future. So if you want that message to get out, you got to get smart, right?
Right.
And rather than look back and go, oh no, I told you so, and then you all fall apart. Which is why I stood outside of a grocery store, because there's no toilet paper, because everybody went, oh crap, it snuck up on me.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sneak up on me. My insecurity has turned into a lot of excitement in that area. Does that make sense?
No, that makes
So I
sense.
think you have to leverage it and go, well, okay, this is your reality. What are you going to do?
Well, just as you're talking, I think that we said on that same retreat that what would it look like for us to start R&D and devote? We hear that Google,
Research and development,
research and development. what would it take for us to devote 3% of our resources to R&D?
And we got that. That's what Apple does.
Yeah, that's what Apple does. And Matt Engel from Glue said that. And I was meeting with Ben, who kind of runs our R&D. He's been tasked with that. And what we were realizing is that we're now, everything that we're doing is R&D.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that we're going to be 2 to 3 years down the road of where we would have been because of COVID-19, simply because we're forced
in terms of technology and
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the only way that we can connect.
It's the only way
with
to
people
go.
now.
Yeah.
So based off of your question that you just asked and something that you just said, I think pre-sabbatical Jim would have been in the mind state of like, how do we get people back in the building? Because you like the room, you like playing off of it. Mm-hmm. Now you're saying that's a good thing. Like we want people in our buildings at some point, but that's not the main thing. We want to get this message out. Mm-hmm. Pairing that up with Jesse's question, Jesse's walking through a new job, new role, new people to lead, all that type of stuff. Jesse's really good at leading people. He doesn't know about the experiences part yet. How does he mix and match them? For you, you've had to completely retrain your mind and your thought to go from like, here's what I'm holding on to. I'm holding on to, because we talked in Africa 3-4 years ago about like, you need to leverage cameras and everything like that. And you're like, but I like the room. Now you're making the switch of like, I like the room. However, this is more important. Mm-hmm. There's people listening that might work in church world, might not. They might own a business. They might just have their family. They might, but something has to change in their mindset to get from something that they're holding on to something new that might push their whatever that is further. So if you're talking to Jesse right now about you're holding on to this aspect of something good in your job or something not good in your job and you need to let go of it to push after this, what did you have to do in your mind to change that?
Well, I think that most change comes when it's forced change, like it or not.
Sure.
COVID-19 made us
Right.
change. Sabbatical made me stop and go, okay, you're in timeout and you got to figure this out. All right. If for some reason, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if it came down going, there will be no church meetings, no gatherings of more than 10 people until 2021. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay. I don't know, but you better figure it out, you know, as opposed to, you know, you can drag your heels, you can see if anybody else figures it out. But I think that the mindset is, can this turn into an opportunity?
Sure.
All right. Can this turn into an opportunity? So you never saw yourself in this career to get fired from your last one, and you thought your world was over. You never thought you'd be happy again because of your divorce, and then you met the next
Mm-hmm.
person. And now you have these kids, and you're like, you know, there's all these things. And I talk to people all the time who had tragedy in their life, and they look back and go, I wouldn't change a thing. And you can't say that in the moment.
Yeah.
You can't say it in the moment,
Sure.
but you look back and go, that was the opportunity. Is it Thomas Edison who said, I figured out 999 ways how not to build a light bulb before
Made the one.
before he made the one. Okay. I think that the mindset that has to happen is, I don't like what's happening. I didn't vote for it, but it happened, and I'm going to see what God's doing in this. And I'm going to get on the front edge of it rather than playing, you know, backup ball. You know, if we say we're just going to keep all our eggs in the big rooms with big production numbers, and then in 2021 it goes, it's actually going to be another year. All our people who have depended on us to hear the message of Christ, they're gone. Mm-hmm. All right, because you need help daily, right? So when I was watching Easter, which is 135,000 IP addresses
So far, yeah.
and then there's a figure out there 2.6 people per IP address, something like that. So it's like 350,000 people, right? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but I'm talking in an empty lobby to an empty room, and the one time where I want to be with people, you know, and I want to see the little kids with their new, you know, we went to the store, we got our Easter clothes, you know, and then I wanted all that. I wanted to. There's two people that always bring me Peeps every year in the lobby, you know, and
Peeps are so great, aren't they? They're like the best Easter candy.
I actually love Peeps. Frozen Peeps.
yeah, they're closed
Stale
down.
Peeps?
Peeps, the Peeps company is closed down for COVID, but they already shipped their Easter stuff.
There you go. Heck
All right,
yeah.
I listen to AIM radio now.
Yeah, you
So,
do.
all right, so my point is, I don't even know what my point is. My point is, I right after the 2:00 service on Saturday, I texted Jesse. I went, can we do anything live? Can I go live right now and just have a conversation between the 2 and the 4 and the 4 and the 6 and the 6 and the 9 or whenever it was, right? And because I'm so just technologically illiterate, and he goes, well, there's this Instagram live thing, and I'm like, okay, get Corey and Keela on it because I have no idea how to do this. And then they coached me through it. They put up a couple of signs, and I had 1,100 people for an hour have a conversation with me on Saturday, and 1,300 people have a conversation with me on Sunday. And I got off it, and it flew to me. It flew, all right. Except some of you dweebs got on there and started trolling.
I would never.
Oh, the $1 thing?
Yeah, what was that?
The profanity jar.
Oh,
apparently I said shit a couple times. I don't even remember that. But anyway, I guess my point is like you gotta get creative and see it as an opportunity, because and I love what Runyon said. He hates social isolation. All right, I wish I never said that. Physical isolation, but socially we have to be connected, and spiritually we have to be connected. And again, we're spiritual beings. We feed off the Holy Spirit. We also feed off of each other and feed into each other. Encourage. That's why it says don't give up meeting together.
Yeah.
But there's no that whole 2 or 3 gathered. Who said that can't be a Zoom call?
yeah.
All right. I think God is bigger than technology,
Yeah.
So anyway.
Sure. Jim, what would you tell whether it's a leader or somebody who's at work or somebody who's leading their family, what does their family, do their employees or their staff need from them when they're feeling insecure, when they're like, I'm frustrated, I don't know what to do, when they're scared? What are their followers, for lack of a better word, what do they need from them?
I think they need to acknowledge that they're heard and that, I understand you're scared. It's scary times. And then call them back to the vision, the higher vision.
Sure.
Right. So like, I got a question, like, how do I explain to my kid that what's going on in the world? And I tried to tell him, and this is a conversation we had on the Instagram Live. Is like, I tried to tell my kid, hey, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow worry about itself.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
And I said that's a great thing to say. Okay. But the next verse is, but seek first His kingdom. Right. And so it's like, all right. So there's a lot to worry about. I mean, Jesus says there's enough to worry about today. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. All right. Because the big questions of life are: what shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? Can we sleep indoors? Can we keep the heat on? Can we have food? And there's some people actually asking those questions, and those questions will be there, right? But then Jesus flips and goes, but see, you here, all right, but we're going to be different. We're going to seek first the kingdom of God. So yes, this is bad. You lost your job. We don't have a lot of money. I don't know if dad's going back to work or mom's going back to work. I don't know if grandma's going to make it. I don't know who's getting out of the hospital. All right. Okay. So let's go upstream. And what can we do right now that brings God into this? Okay. So we can't do this, but we're going to get creative about what we can do. And you bring them back to a vision, especially with your kids. When your kids are spinning out going, when am I going to see my friends? When am I going to get to go back to school?
Right.
When am I, all the stuff that you're dealing with, you have 4 of them at home, right? Is like you go, yeah, that's bad. Okay. What's a good thing we can do? And you call them back to the vision. I mean, this is what you guys have to do with your staffs. Okay. It's like, you're wrestling about, okay, the way we used to produce weekends and stuff like that, that paradigm is out the window for a while. But if you're still trying to operate off that paradigm, then everybody's just gonna be frustrated at a shoot, right? Right. And you're dealing with it, okay?
Yep.
So then you have to come back going, okay, so we have an opportunity here, guys. Listen, we have a whole new opportunity. The best thing we've ever done was last Easter, we had 33,000 people in a building. That was a year ago, okay? That's the best. They blew it out on technology. We threw all that out and did something really, really, really stripped down whatever and talked to 350,000, okay?
Sure.
You got to pull them back to the vision. Yeah, it's hard. It's out of our comfort zone. Don't know how to do this. Get a vision, okay? You can do that with your kids, okay?
Sure.
We can't be with our friends, but what can we do with our friends? What can we do to bring God's light into this, all right? Write a letter to the prisoner, hey, this is the young, this is our picture. We can mail it to a man or woman in prison. All right.
Sure.
And you can all sign it. And you can draw a picture for them. All right. And go, listen, we just sought first the kingdom of God. You call them back to vision. Same way you have to do with your church staff going, oh, okay, we can't meet together, but what can we do? All right.
Yeah.
We can feed hospital staffs.
Right.
We can feed, we can hand out masks. We can go and we can apply. We can go out on the back porch and howl at 8:00 at night with your kids. And they go, why are we doing this, Dad? It's because all around us are first responders who've come home to get a break before they have to go back out there and take care of us. And we're going to howl loud to tell them that they're not forgotten, that they're loved. Why the heck are we putting Christmas lights up on at Easter time? All right. Because we want the whole world to know that COVID and darkness and sin and the devil and all that stuff, he's darkness and he doesn't win. We're going to turn on a light. So it could be everything from Jesus is the light in the world to screw Satan. I don't care. But whatever your kids, is you got to twist it and call them back to vision. You have to do that with your staff. Okay. We can't do this, but we can do this, right? And what's the alternative? I know it's bad.
Yeah.
Let's just sit here at the table and wait to die.
Yeah.
Sure. We've got to empathize.
We'll probably never eat again, kids. You're right. That's not real.
Right. We do have to empathize, but at the same time, then we have to call people.
We have to get up and go.
Yeah, we got to get up and go, call them to the vision.
You have to listen.
Sure.
So when your wives or your kids are freaking out and you're going, "Will you guys just shut up and lighten up?" That's a dumb way to feel.
I shouldn't have said that this morning.
No. Yeah. Here's the worst thing. Don't ever say that's a dumb way to feel, or you shouldn't feel like that. Okay. What you gotta do is you gotta listen. All right. I've been doing this a long time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The person on the front end of their career hasn't been doing this. All right. They don't know that this is normal.
Sure.
All they know is this.
Sure.
All right. And you go, I know. Like, I remember when I first got married and I went to a couple's dinner party or something like that. And I found out that other people were having fights and I was so happy. I thought we were the only one. Mm-hmm. I thought every fight was going to, John, you've been married about 5 minutes. All right. You feel like every John, see you in the house.
Yeah.
You feel like every fight's going to end in divorce, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. But in the moment it feels like that. And your kids feel like they'll never go back to school. They will. And you feel like you'll never have income again. You will. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yep.
And the coronavirus, what control do you have? I think that this is the biggest aha moment. It popped our balloon thinking that anything was in our control.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
We went from a kid eating a bat in China to the world's economy shut down in 4 months.
Yep.
Okay. Like that. Okay. And now, it's just so crazy to get on TV and you're like I've seen like rock stars and athletes and people in other countries. They're doing the same thing. They're sitting in their apartments, waving at people out their windows. It's like, I think the church has a great opportunity right now too. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, that's probably time, right? So we might go with part 3. Who knows? This is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. What else are we going to do today?
Yeah.
It's 13 inches of snow out there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 60 degrees tomorrow. That just probably means world flooding.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
One more thing.
All right. Yeah. You come back to I think that leadership in a church, leadership in a home, leadership in a company, whatever that is, a good leader has to say, yeah, I feel that too. Mm-hmm. What might God be doing here that we could get in on the front end of? What are we paying attention to rather than wringing our hands? Because God's not wringing his hands. The crucifixion didn't catch him off guard. The persecution didn't catch him off guard. World War didn't catch him off guard. COVID-19 didn't catch him off guard. I'm not saying he caused any of it, but he didn't get surprised by it. And he's like going, now watch my church do what they do. Watch the leaders that I have put across this planet do what only they can do because I put it in them. That's what I'm excited about.
That's
All right. Thanks.
That's good.